Alright guys, we are here today. It is only a few hours after we did the Tesla stream. Tesla is down a little bit today. They're at 223s. There's Tesla that's down. We got PPI inflation data. It's a big report. After yesterday's CPI data came in higher, which is what I told you guys it would. I predicted it would. Again, I got it exactly right. I thought it would come in slightly higher at 2.4 and 0.2%. That's exactly what I said, and that's what it showed up as. So. Yeah, so sorry. I got stuff in my ears. We also have bank earnings this morning. So a lot of banks dropped earnings today. Specifically JP Morgan, BDPSB revenue, BlackRock, BDPSB revenue, Wells Fargo, BDPSB revenue, BK, BDPSB revenue. Fastenal came in as expected and missed revenue. So that's what we got going on today. Tesla down. We were wondering how it might be affected by the Cybertruck event, and it was negatively impacted by it. I thought the Cybertruck event was cool, or the robotaxi event was cool. JP Morgan gapping up a little bit on their earnings. BLK, BlackRock gapping up a little bit, but they don't really move and like that. Wells Fargo gapping up a little bit on their earnings report. So, no, this is just the first time I'm speaking this morning, and I didn't get enough sleep. And no, I don't have gauges in my ears, guys. These are not gauges. These are magnets. I know it might look kind of funny, but they're magnets is what this is. JP Morgan, again, posted 437 versus 401. Revenue of 43.32. Here's JP Morgan, Fastenal. JP Morgan sees fiscal year net interest income of about $92.5 billion. Previously, it was $91 billion. Couldn't watch the telestream because it was 3 a.m. here. Could someone give me a brief summary? So Tesla came out with a couple things. They debuted, I should say. They debuted their RoboCab. They said it's going to be under 30 grand most likely. That it's going to be purchasable, so it's not something that they're going to operate in terms of like their own fleet, but that instead it's going to be like a purchasable thing. Like I can purchase my own RoboCab and then let that thing basically run a little mini business for me, or buy a fleet of them and let it run a large business for me. That's something that they're doing. They also debuted. He called it something else. It was the Robovan, but he called it the Robovan or something like that. I can't remember how he pronounced it, but it was Robovan. Robovan is how he pronounced it or something. So that was cool. It was like a 6 or 8 sitting, like, electric van. He also put out the Optimus robots. He said that they're going to be 20 to 30 grand each, but that they're going to be able to do anything for you. He said it's going to help us enter an age of abundance. And, yeah. We'll see if he accomplishes all that. But market didn't like it, apparently. Market's down. Tesla's down. 223's dropped from 240, so it's down significantly on this event. Yeah, I'm not going to even make a prediction for PPI. I'm good at predicting CPI. I'm not really good at predicting PPI, so I'm not even going to make a prediction. I don't know. I could say it'll come in higher, but I don't necessarily think that it's always correlating in that way. I don't think you can always correlate it in that same way. All stocks don't go up. Blue chip stocks typically are going to go up long term. But I think stocks like Tesla are also a little different. There's more variance for them. I sold Uber for $40 for a big loss. Well, Uber's not really a blue chip new company. Uber's kind of a new company. Same thing with Palantir, you know. So those are all pretty new companies. Then why did you think CPI was going to be higher? Well, I used a mix of balance based off of previous CPI reports, right? But what PPI is less predictable, you know. And so my streak is on CPI, not PPI, you know. And I can prove my streak, right? I had Pawn do this for me. BP says lower refinery margins are going to hit profits by up to 600 million. Stellantis is looking to revive slumping stock management shakeup. They're the parent company of Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler. They had a 43% downward move in its share price since the start of the year. They're trying to help reverse that. But yeah, Elon started the stream an hour late, literally an hour late. It's too much. It was too much. You know. There's one. I need AI for this. All right. Wait. Yeah, dude. AI gets everything wrong, bro. I gotta go look at the last CPI reports. I gotta look at a CPI report. Let's see this. Let's look at the last. I don't want to look at the last 12 months. I want to look at the last couple of months. 0.2%, September 2024. That was released yesterday. 0.2%. Yeah, so here was me yesterday. Right, so listen to me. Here's me yesterday. Right. So here's me yesterday. They should add. I don't know. I'm going to guess. Again, straight up guess. Straight up speculation. I'm going to go with 2.4% and 0.2% month to month. And if you look at what we showed up as, we showed up at 0.2% month to month and 2.4% of the year. Exactly what I said. I'm trying to look to see the last report, though. It's harder to find the dates. I know Trading Economics has like a yearly report where you can look at like the year over year increase or decreases. But I want to see the month to month ones. Right, you can see the one before that we showed up. Let me see if I can ask Google AI. Okay, so yeah, here we go. September 11th, we had it drop again. The only big surprise one was July, where it went down 0.1%. Interesting. And then what did I say the time before that? Let me see. Here's the September 11th one. So I'm going to go with 2.4, 2.5%. Might be 2.4%. But it was 2.5% is what it showed up as. I'm going to go with slightly under the expected number is basically what I'm thinking. I feel if CPI is good, Wall Street will dump. Those guys are irrational. Yeah, I mean, sometimes. And so I'm trying to see. Make the same mistake as Blockbuster. What if they? Yeah, so I'm trying to see, like, this time I expected a little bit higher than expected at 0.2% and 2.4%, and that's what it showed up as. Last time I expected a little bit under expected. It showed up slightly under at 2.5%. So I'll have to go back and look at the time before that, too. Well, Tesla's got a lot of haters. If PPI comes in lower, we rocket. Think of how much manufacturing has gone up recently. They are making product for less. Henceforth, margin profit for them. Tech is going to go burr. Yeah, maybe. Someone had a medical emergency. Yeah, no, I feel for them. I hope they got it figured out. Yeah, I'm tired. I did the Tesla stream not that long ago. Like, not that long ago. So I did the Tesla stream 7 hours ago. I also have cauliflower ear right now, and my ears hurt. Like, I've got cauliflower in my ear. I've got to wear these magnets on my ear. And they hurt, dude. Like, I'm wearing these things in my ear. Like, most of the time it's fine. But I was laying in bed last night trying to sleep, and these things freaking hurt. Yeah, I drained it, and now I'm wearing magnets. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking at this. This shows the previous report. And then the time before that, I didn't even look at the time before that yet. Here's the time before that. Last minute predictions, 0.1% people are saying. 0.1%. I'm going to go with 0.2%, 0.3%. Yeah, it was 0.2% for the time before that. And so I've guessed it right every time. Within a range, right? But I've guessed if it was coming in higher or lower. This time it came in higher. Last time it came in lower. And it's predictable, I guess. I never thought CPI was predictable until I started getting it right every time. And then this one was 3 months ago on July 11th. Although I don't think I got it right July 11th. Did I? Let's see, I don't think so. Estimates, like, I don't know what inflation data is going to show up as. I'm guessing 0.1%, which is as expected, maybe 0.2%, so slightly high. Yeah. No, we showed that, I guess, June 11th. I think I got June 12th right. I think I said June 12th we were going to come in at 0%. So we have 1 hour, 8 minutes left. Yes, let me put a timer up. My bad, guys. I'm trying to stream everything, and it's getting exhausting, you know. So we got an hour. We got an hour and 6.5 minutes left. That's what we got. But yeah, there's Wells Fargo. You can kind of see Nvidia. Here's the QQQ. Q's down, mostly driven by Tesla. I'm curious if the SPY is going to break down too. Well, so CPI, we're not looking at how much it fell relative to last month. We're looking at what it is versus expected. CPI yesterday was expected at 0.1% increase. It ended up showing a 0.2% increase. Right now, it did dip a little bit from last time year to year. Last time it showed up at 2.5% year to year. This time it showed up at 2.4%. So it did dip a little bit year to year. So it actually went down. But month to month, I think it dipped as well. Yeah, from 0.3 to 0.2%. But still, it did come in higher than expected yesterday. Chad loves you, buddy. Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Play some of that Elon music, bro. That Elon music was hyped, you know. Like I was smart about it. Like I heard the music and I immediately turned off monetization on my stream. Because they started hitting me like it's not actual strikes. It's more so it's not actually strikes. It's more so claims. Like if I played in my music, they take the monetization from me, and that's what happened. Like they just basically any money that video makes, they the creator of the music gets to keep. Yeah, man. Buying places in Florida seems risky at this point in time. What I'm really bummed out about, I can't train for weeks now. I'm honestly genuinely kind of bummed. I can't train for weeks. Like, I know somebody said I can wear a head mask, and so I might still train. I don't know. Yeah, so 2 new Teslas announced by Elon. Robovan, Robocab, and Optimus. He is what they talked about mostly. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really like a fighter or anything. I'm a hobbyist more so. I mean, I train a lot. I have fun doing it. I need to get out. I sit at this computer for so long that like, but I'm just a white belt, but I do train enough. Like I train too much, and that's evident in my ears swelling, because they've hurt. Like my ears have hurt for 3 weeks straight. You know, and like they've been swollen, and for a while I bought a head mask, like a wrestler's mask, but I couldn't wear it when I sparred with people because it was just too difficult. Like I couldn't hear anything, and that's super, like one of your senses getting thrown off is really not helpful. So I never ended up wearing it, and that seems to be a mistake now. It looks like I'll have to wear it. But point is, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not like I'm a white belt, but in jiu-jitsu, like white belts, you're a white belt for years, you know. So like I've been training for a while, but yeah. I'm not going to be making any pro fights anytime soon. I don't think my striking's nearly good enough to anyway. It's not bad, but it's not, I wouldn't call it good either, you know. Yeah, the Optimus, again, the first thing I thought of when I saw the Optimus robot was Bicentennial Man, the movie. Any of my older people might remember Bicentennial Man, the movie. That's what I thought about when I saw the Optimus body. Elon basically says these robots are going to allow us to, we're going to be able to basically have an assistant robot at our house that does whatever we need it to do. Any type of manual labor, any type of production, the robot's going to be able to do it. And he said it's going to lead to an age of abundance, is what he said. What's your opinion on PPI to the markets? So PPI is expected today. Again, I'll put this up on screen. We got a bunch of bank earnings that are influencing the market. Again, PPI is expected at 0.1%. It's expected at 0.1% and will be released live here at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to chat. We did break 148,000 yesterday, though. That's nice. Were they really human controlled, Ty? That might be why everything went down. Because if they are human controlled, while it's a cool show, it doesn't mean anything if they were human controlled. And again, I told you guys the correlation here. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Something I talked about really heavily leading into this event was how the nature of this is usually buy the rumor, sell the news, meaning it gets really pumped up ahead of these events, and then after the actual event happens, the stock falls, right? And that's exactly what we saw here. Like it got pumped up ahead of the event, got up to 260s at one point. And then after the event, it fell all the way down to 222s. So something that happens really, really predictably ahead of big Elon Musk Tesla events. Yeah. All right, chat. So yeah, so again, there's a whole ride in a Cybercab. I'm looking at a video of it now. The Cybercab seems genuinely cool, though, and it'll change technology. One thing I kept talking about yesterday is the implications on Uber, Lyft, companies like that. Cybercab at how long to change regulations? Yeah, I think that's the big question mark with all of it. What's your prediction for the PPI data? I have no idea what PPI is going to show up as. No idea. Trading crypto. Hood has an event. Robinhood. Jiu-jitsu is great. Yeah, Jiu-jitsu is fun, man. It really is. It's the closest thing that comes to a video game for me. Yeah, so producer price goodbye. Yeah, so producer price data, there's two sides of the inflationary coin, right? One of them is CPI, it's consumer inflation. It's how much prices are rising for consumers. And the other one is how much prices are rising for producers or sellers. So again, what CPI tracks is the average change in prices over time that consumers pay for goods and services. It's used to measure inflation from the perspective specifically of consumers. The CPI data helps us understand how much prices are rising or falling, essentially, which can affect the cost of living. It's also used by policymakers to adjust things like wages, social security payments, and to guide economic policy occasionally. But the Fed likes to use PCE, but my point is, if CPI rises by 2%, as an example, it means that on average, goods and services like food, rent, healthcare, transportation have increased in price by 2%. It kind of shows you how important of a gauge CPI is. Now, PPI tracks the average change in the prices that producers or businesses receive for their goods. So it's basically like how much they get for their stuff they're selling. It reflects wholesale price changes or prices from the producer's perspective. PPI helps understand inflation from the side of production and is often an early indicator of future CPI changes. And so if producers' costs go up, they might eventually pass those higher costs on to consumers, if that makes sense. An example is if PPI rises by 1%, it means that on average prices at the producer level, like raw materials, wood, wholesale goods, stuff like that, have gone up by 1%. And so that's what we're looking at when we look at PPI. PPI looks at prices that producers receive for their goods and services. So CPI looks at prices consumers pay. And so they both follow each other. One usually follows the other. Generally, CPI is first, and then after that, the next day is PPI. But we do occasionally see it in which like CPI will show up after PPI. So that's not super rare either. PPI varies. Sometimes it's a big move. Other times it's slow. So it varies. Somebody's gambling. John was right. Tesla, buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, people like, here's the thing, right? Like, people act like I just got this monstrous ego where I'm just out here just saying, oh, I'm right about everything. And I don't believe that's the case. I believe if you actually look back and track some of the stuff, I'm like, hey, I was right about this. You'll see I actually was right about this, you know? And I think that's rare in terms of influencers and predictions. I think a lot of them make these big, bold crash predictions and are always freaking wrong. And so I'm not saying I know everything. I certainly have my flaws in that regard, and I'm certainly wrong about some stuff, you know. But lately, my predictions have been on point, you know. I just, like, it's a little bit more masked because I do cover it with disclaimers and like, hey, I have no freaking idea, I'm just guessing or whatever it is. But again, you can't really... People know CPI, I've been right. You know, like, people know if they tune in for CPI, that usually I'm correct about what we show up as. And that's a hard standard to live up to, because I worried this past time. I was so shocked after CPI because I didn't think I was going to get it right. I was like, I can't get it right again. And then I did. And so I was kind of freaked out by it yesterday, to be completely honest. But hey, when you know, you know. And I'm not going to predict PPI because I really don't. I'm not nearly as good at predicting PPI as CPI. It's a 33% probability in the end for whatever decision you make. No, it's not. You know, I think, like, you got to think about it like this, right? Not only, like, yesterday I said, hey, I think we're going to come in 0.2% versus 0.1% and 2.4% versus 2.3% expected number. Alright, but yeah, so man, I got lost. So my point is, it's a much harder thing than just a third likelihood that you're going to get it right. You know, like the likelihood that I'm going to get year over year and month over month correct for 4 months in a row. I don't think it's actually 4 months in a row. I think there was one time in July that I got it wrong, right? So the last one that I actually got wrong in terms of prediction was the one from July. Mid-July, I got that one wrong. But I got September, August, June, and May correct, right? So I've gotten 4 out of the last 5 CPI reports exactly right. But yeah. It's definitely much more than a third, though, you know. Again, we were right about Tesla buy the rumor, sell the news event. That one maybe a little bit, you know, but how high can the 10-year yield go until we peak again? Well, it depends on what the Federal Reserve is planning to do here, right? Like, it really genuinely depends on what the Fed does. So the nuance of yields is that as bond prices go down, yields go up, and as interest rates go down, right? Bond yields go down with it, and the price of bonds goes up. Is the nuance. So as interest rates go down, bond prices go up and yields go down is what happens. And again, it's super probable that we're going to continue to cut rates, but the big change here is that we're not going to cut rates, as we're still most likely super probable going to be 25 basis points. And this might change leading into November. You know, this is happening in November. This might change leading into it. So we got some time for this to change. It's never definitive. What you want to look at this. You want to look at this like 15 minutes before the November meeting if you want to know exactly what's going to happen. That's what you do. You look at this 15 minutes before the meeting. And again, the biggest mistake most people make is that they make all these crazy, bold, wild predictions, and they're almost always wrong. And you can always tell what this is going to be. It's super predictable. It's not hard to predict. It's super predictable. You just got to, you got to be smart about it and look at it right before it happens. But it's all based off of... The CME watch tool does a good job. Sorry, I missed most of the stream. If PPI is higher than expected, do you think it'll move similar to CPI? Maybe. What was weird yesterday, though, as an example, is like yesterday CPI came out higher than expected, right? Worse. Like worse. And the market didn't really move at all. So the market didn't really move. It still sat around lifetime highs. It initially decreased and came down after CPI's report, right? But it pretty quickly bounced all the way back and broke highs of the day, and then mostly trended sideways for the rest of the day, probably driven by NVIDIA. NVIDIA got up to 135s again yesterday, so NVIDIA probably dragged it up at least a little bit. I gotta take these magnets out. They freaking hurt, dude. Ouch. No, this is a magnet. I've got a little bit of cauliflower ear on my left ear. It's not my right one. I'm just wearing it on my right one. But on this ear specifically, I've got a little bit of cauliflower ear. And I knew it was going to happen, man. With cauliflower ear, like, number one, it's genetic. Number two is that, your ears can hurt and swell and be fine. And then it takes one bad roll to just make them blow up and get rough. All right, hold on. All right, guys. Sorry, I had to talk to the family a little bit. It's definitely a little bit of, it's definitely somewhat genetic. It's not purely genetic, but if you look it up, like what I mean by that is like you're not just gonna get cauliflower ear because you have bad genetics, right? But my point is, some people get it and some people don't, and that has to do with genetics. So it has a genetic component to it, basically. And you could look this up, right? So some people can train every day, twice a day, and never get it. And other people can train once or twice and get some really hard rolls in once or twice, and their whole ear can get worse, right? And so there is a genetic component to it. Is it purely genetic where you're going to get it no matter what? No, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, slap. You can look it up, man. It's all good, Yeah, it's from trading. cauliflower ear from trading. That's exactly. It's just trading, you know, just really heavy trading. Well, it's got a genetic component to it. Some people have, look, you could look this up, right? A few genetic factors that could influence the risk of cauliflower ear. Skin and cartilage resilience. Some people may have genetically stronger or more flexible skin and cartilage, which might make them less prone to the damage that cauliflower ear causes. Genetic differences in healing rates or inflammation responses could affect how someone's body reacts to the ear trauma. Some people might have genetic ear shapes or structures that make them more vulnerable to repeated trauma in their ears. So it's definitely at least a little bit, you know. And we could argue about it, and that's fine. But I'm just going to say it's definitely just a little bit. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. We're going to move back to stocks. NVIDIA at 135s. From getting stuck in guillotines. That's right, Bruce. Honestly, what it was yesterday, I hate to even admit this, but it was a mother's milk yesterday from a purple belt. Like, he got me in one, and I was like, not freaking today. I'm not doing it today. Man, at the end of the day, we're going to see market rally. I don't know, man. It depends on what PPI data shows up as. Really, what's made my ears the most swollen was squirming out of triangles. Triangles are the ones. Like, I can usually get out of triangles, but when I try to squirm out of it, it's, you know, that's usually what catches me. I'm usually pretty good at guillotine defense just because I like to play guillotines a lot, and so I never rip my head out. I usually just fight the hands and avoid that position to begin with, you know. But everybody's different, man. Again, Tesla at 225s now. Tesla, definitely a buy the rumor, sell the news event. And this is something we said a lot beforehand. Tesla tends to behave this way where it has really good price action leading up to these big events. And then after the events, it corrects massively on the downside. Yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now. So we'll see if this continues. But yeah. Any predictions for the NASDAQ? Hey, nice chain. AMD got pumped from their event too? Yeah, I saw that. Pumped in a bad way? Oh. I didn't see that. They did drop a lot yesterday. Oh, AMD's event is what you mean. I thought you were talking about Tesla's event. Yeah, I saw them drop yesterday from everything. Robotaxi was cool, but it was a lot of promises that I think... Yeah, I mean, people understand Elon's ability to overpromise and underdeliver. And that's something that Elon does a lot, where he promises the world and doesn't follow through with it. So, yeah. Tesla came in. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad level now either, you know. Sucked the moment he came on stage. Here's our new Oculus 3. It's $299 available now. Musk. Well, here's the Cybercab that might be $30K and might be available to buy before 2027. Yeah, to be fair, though, producing a VR headset is a lot less complex than producing a Cybercab, fully autonomous, self-driving vehicle. You know, there's a lot more stuff in there for the latter, I should say. There's a lot more stuff there. Nobody wanted to get an autonomous ride from the Model Y because it's already available. Yeah. Uber went up big. Yeah, well, Uber went up big specifically because, like, look, like, here's the nuance that we talked about this a lot ahead of the event, right before the event. Elon was an hour late, so we had lots of time to talk about this. If you watch my Cybertruck coverage, we had a lot of time to talk about this because Elon was an hour late. And so, basically, ahead of this event, right, like ahead of the Cybercab event, one of the speculations is that there's two possible ways that they could go regarding the Cybercab, right? One of the ways would basically mean that Elon was creating an Uber ride-sharing company, an Uber-like ride-sharing company, in which basically he implements a fleet of robocabs that basically go around doing business in a similar way to Uber and Lyft, right? And if that was the case, that's bad news for Uber and Lyft, right? Like, if Elon basically starts to do the same thing, but there's no freaking drivers involved, that's bad for Uber and Lyft. And it's still not good for them. It's still not necessarily good, to be honest, in my opinion. But instead of that, what Elon basically said was that this is a standalone vehicle that you can buy, right? So basically anybody can buy their own Cybercab and it can drive them around, and it can also drive other people around, and you can charge for it and stuff like that. It's going to be purchasable for people. It's not going to be something that is like, basically Tesla's not going to own all of them and basically have fleets in every major city that go around driving people. While I don't think that's a bad idea if you're Elon, and I think that could basically steal Uber's business model in that way. But so when Tesla and Elon announced that that's not what was going to happen, Uber shot up from it. Yeah. All right, so we got 600 people here. We still got 30 plus minutes left for PPI data. Again, we did hit 148,000. Beginner Trading's got 70,000 views in the last 48 hours. So thanks so much, chat. We're pushing towards 150,000. Guys, we're getting there. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode, so help me hit these numbers, chat. Yeah, bank earnings today. We had JP Morgan beat. They're gapping up. We had Wells Fargo beat. They're gapping up. We had Fastenal beat. They're gapping up. We had BLK beat. They're up a little bit. They're gapping up some. Palantir's down to 44s too. All right, so looking at our poll numbers here, 70% people think PPI comes in higher than expected. That's not a shocking prediction based off of what we showed yesterday for CPI data. So not a shocking prediction based off of that. Yeah, I'm still building these indicators, man. And again, like I said, I've built 2 so far. I'm not going to show you guys the code. Or I built a couple different ones so far. I've got one called the 1 minute monster and the 5 minute monster. And the 1 minute monster is honestly pretty good, right? Like, here's the 1 minute monster just to show you guys. And it's a work in progress. Okay, but these are trading codes. So this one looks like it was wrong. This one was definitely right. Look at that breakdown. Boom. This one was definitely right. Look at that breakdown. Boom. This one was right. Look at that breakdown. Boom. This one was definitely right. Look at that rip up. Boom. These two were correct breakdowns following it. This one was right. Breakdown. This one was wrong. So that's 2. This one broke down. So that's good. This one was right. This one was right. This one was right. Okay, so I'm just going to go back in time. There's 2 wrong out of all the ones that I just said, right? 2 wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 out of 13 were wrong. So that is very good accuracy for this 1 minute monster indicator that I built. We also have a 5 minute one that we built too. So this is on a 1 minute chart. It's specifically supposed to be used for a 1 minute chart. And then we have a 5 minute monster that we built too. Let's show that one. And here's this one on the NASDAQ, right? So again, this one, we got some follow through. This one literally predicted the bottom, got a huge rip. This one predicted a bottom too, got a huge rip. This one predicted a top, got a breakdown. This one predicted a top, got a breakdown. This one predicted a top, got a breakdown. This one, I'm not going to say it didn't work because we did get a breakdown all the way to here. But, you know, a little bit more up in the air. This one definitely worked. This one, maybe we could say that didn't work. But look at the accuracy on this, man. Like, literally does really good job at predicting the bottoms. Look at that. So again, so yeah, we'll keep updating you on these, but they're getting pretty good. They're getting pretty good, you know. What? B, I'm not sure what you said. Hey, bro, I'm from India. Love you. Please show what? If core PPI comes in higher than expected, what would that mean for Bitcoin? I'm not sure. Bitcoin price and PPI. All right, so Bitcoin's relationship with PPI, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, is complex and not directly correlated as other traditional assets like stock and bonds. However, we could talk about the historical correlations of Bitcoin with this stuff. Historically, Bitcoin has been seen by some investors as a store of value or digital gold, especially when inflation rises. And this narrative is driven by Bitcoin's fixed supply at 21 million coins, which contrasts with fiat currency that can be printed in large quantities. Core PPI is a measure of underlying inflation at the production level, and so when core PPI rises, it could signal rising costs for businesses, which often lead to higher consumer prices later captured in CPI. Now, possible correlations are that rising core PPI could signal higher future inflation, which might lead some investors to view Bitcoin as a hedge against said inflation and potentially drive the demand and prices for Bitcoin up. However, this relationship isn't always strong or necessarily consistent, as many other factors influence it, and so it's not something that you want to bet on, basically. Historically, the correlation between core Bitcoin and core PPI Bitcoin has been weak to moderate at best. Bitcoin tends to react more significantly to other economic factors like policy or CPI than specifically PPI price. There have been periods, particularly of times in high inflation, when Bitcoin's price rose alongside rising inflation and fears of inflation, including core PPI. However, this is not often tied to the broader inflationary. This is often tied to the broader inflation environment rather than a direct response to specifically PPI or core PPI. So that's what you want to look at, you know, regarding Bitcoin. Is the Cybertruck overpriced, you guys? What do you guys think? I mean, I know you can find the Cybertruck for sale. The biggest problem is people who spent $200K on a Cybertruck a year ago have lost 50% of their value. They're now selling for about $100K. Oh, I'm definitely using AI a little bit for my stream. I always have, you know. I think Bitcoin has been on one of the most obvious trends regardless of all this stuff. So if you look at Bitcoin here, I talked about this yesterday a lot, but look at this trend. Look at this trend. All right, Amazon at 187s. I've seen a Cybertruck listed at 50K on Facebook. Yeah, but I doubt you're going to be able to get it for that. I wouldn't bet on that. Cyber Beast for a little under 100K. I don't think so. I think the Cyber Beast is going to be a little bit more. Yeah, I think if you look at most Cybertrucks are anywhere between 100 and 130,000 right now. The Cyber Beast is cool, man. I gotta give it that. It is cool. There's so many for sale, though. It's a little concerning, you know. Brother, tell me what will be the impact once the Monday market opens. I have no idea. I don't watch the overseas market like that. No idea. What did you think of the cyber event last night? I think the event was underwhelming for a lot of people, but I'm excited for it. I personally liked it, but I get why people are underwhelmed. But again, Tesla is almost always buy the rumor, sell the news. Like, it's almost always that, right? Like, it's always buy the rumor, sell the news. So it's not really a shock. It was buy the rumor, sell the news. We were telling people this for weeks leading up to this event, what was going to happen, and this is exactly what happened. Which Tesla went up a lot, and leading up to the event, after the event happened, it dumped. This happens every freaking time, chat. It's not. I'm not going to say it's going to happen next time, because I think eventually the trend has to break, right? The trend of going up big and then down after the event. Eventually that trend has to break. So 80,000 for what? Chain. So $80,000 for what? Yeah, it's just predictable, you know. It's just predictable. My ear hurts, dude. US 30-year Treasury up from 4 to 4.4 in about 30 days. Is it really? Is there a symbol I can look at 30-year yields? I know the 10-year yields. TNX.X, 10-year yields. I don't want the 10-year, I want the 30. TYX.X for 30. Here it is. Yeah, so we're up to about 4.4% for 30-year yields. If you look at a daily chart here, this is yields, right? So if you want to know what the yield is, move a decimal place to the left over, and you'll get the actual bond yield for 30 years. I don't understand investing 30 years. This is a bad investment for me, personally. Right? Like, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not good. You know, like, if I'm investing something for 30 freaking years, I want to earn better than 4%. You know, to put this into perspective, right? 500K, right? This is basically like loaning the U.S. government money, right? So I'm going to loan them 500K. I'm going to earn this a year. You know, I'm going to earn $22,000 a year with 500K, right? So total in this investment, I'm going to earn about 660K. I'm going to earn over 100%, but that's over 30 freaking years. You know how much inflation is going to happen in 30 years? It just doesn't seem like a good investment for me personally. Yeah, get banned. Good day to you, sir. Top 3 of worst tolerating pain in the world right now. Definitely top 3-ish. It hurts though, dude. Honestly, I had to drain it a couple times. Yeah, so there's Nvidia. Nvidia's still up to 135. There's a SPY. SPY tapped lifetime highs again yesterday. Look at the SPY rip here, guys. I'm not sure why this is happening. Could be JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BLK earnings, and the earnings call from it. JP Morgan CEO Diamond says geopolitics may or may not have a drastic impact on the economy. Right, 100%. There's a reason why I'm saying that, like, investing in 30-year treasury bonds is a bad idea. I could do the math pretty quickly here if you guys want to see it. Right? Like, let's say I could buy a $400,000 house, right? So literally less than I'm buying in treasury yields. Let's say that a house earns a modest, we're going to do a modest 3% a year on average. Right? And when you include like the compounding effect of house prices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. In 30 years, 400K is going to turn into about $1 million in value in 30 years, right? Now, that is just if you buy a house in terms of house price increases over a 30-year period. So you could buy a house for 400K and make much more than treasury bonds. It's not guaranteed, but it's pretty freaking consistent. The other thing is that if it's a rental property, like if you want to like a business endeavor, if it's a rental property, right, you should earn about $3,500 a month for this property, right? $3,500 a month. You could do the same formulation here where let's say the rent income grows by 3% a year from because as the price of the home goes up, you're going to be able to ask more for rent as well. Right? And so the same concept here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So within 30 years, instead of asking $3,500 a month for that property, you're going to be able to ask about $8,500 a month. So within 30 years, on a yearly perspective, you're going to be earning $100,000 a year just off of that rental property. You know, so like when you add that to the house price appreciation as well, it obviously makes sense, right? When you add this to the house price appreciation as well. Appreciation in the house price is going to go up. That's going to cause rental income to increase as well. When you add all that stuff together, it's a no-brainer, right? Definitely more so than 30-year treasury bonds, locking your money up for 30 years. Inflation is going to destroy anything that benefits, you know. Now, if you want to diversify and buy some long-term bonds, some short-term bonds, some S&P, some NASDAQ, some gold, some crypto, do your thing. I'm not mad at that. I understand that for sure. Nvidia's up. It's up to 135s. Lifetime highs are just over 140 here. So Nvidia's edging towards lifetime highs. And my question is it going to act like a magnet like the SPY did? Yeah, so here's the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ spiked up a little bit too. Look at that. Yeah, it could be Jamie Dimon speaking on stuff. Both are very consistent. Well, I mean, I gotta take this off. Can y'all see it? Like, look at the ear. Can y'all see it? Oh. Oof. Like, look at it. Man, hurts. Eesh. Something has to give. House prices can't keep rising like this. People can't afford it. I know, but that's why lowering interest rates isn't good either. I mean, it depends, right? Like, lowering interest rates is going to cause rent to go down to a certain extent because there's going to be a lot more competition from mortgages in terms of landlords. And so if landlords see that people are getting mortgages and they don't want to rent their homes anymore, they're going to lower prices. And so there could be some consequences. It also could do the opposite, where it creates house price increases and in turn rent increases as well. So either of those things could happen. John and I think alike. I have way smaller bankroll, 150 less thousand subscribers. Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with my headphones, to be honest. I'm gonna have to put this back on my ear. I can feel it. It needs to be on my ear, as much as it hurts. I have some smaller ones, but this needs to be on my ear. All right, guys, we got 14 minutes left. Oh yeah, I'm sure chances of pause increase. PPI inflation data. Yeah, so we got about 1,000 here. We got it in sub-only mode. Again, y'all hit that subscribe button. We're pushing towards 150K. We'll probably hit it within a month or two. But we're getting close. You know, we're getting close. It is earnings season coming up too. Go back to playing poker. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu is poker in a way, right? Like, jiu-jitsu is is a thinking person. Like, the people who are good at jiu-jitsu are smart, I think. Not always, right? But I think it's like chess. It's like physical chess. Yeah, the question is, does lithium increase in value over time too? You know, this is something that I told my wife too, which is that lithium is, like, I think lithium's probably going to go down in value. Why is it going to go down in value? Specifically because more mines are opening up because of EV, and there's going to be more abundance of it. And if you look at lithium prices are down 54% on the year, 54% decrease. So it's interesting. Before I even looked at lithium price, I could see that correlation, right? And it makes sense. It just makes sense. So BlackRock CFO in an earnings call says, quote, "We don't need M&A to meet our growth targets. We are focused on GIP and pre-Quinn acquisitions." JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says geopolitics may or may not have a dramatic impact on the economy. Sees stable economic growth. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, lithium mining is definitely environmentally taxing, without question. It's definitely environmentally taxing. All right, guys, we got a little bit less than 10 minutes now. A little bit less than 10 minutes. So y'all hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the love. Again, help me hit 150,000 subscribers, guys. We're almost got 100,000 views in the last 48 hours. Help the growth. Yeah, I think silver looks good. Silver looks good. If you look at silver price, you know, silver, the problem with gold is that, and silver, to be fair, is around lifetime highs as well, right? But gold has been on a freaking, like, multi-year breakout for gold, right? If I put up a monthly chart, gold has essentially been breaking out without much of a slowdown since 2016, right? Here's gold's chart on the right side. We don't really see the same correlation with silver. Like, it's been on a little breakout, but it already had a pretty big pullback in 2020. So silver pulled back dramatically. The only thing about this, though, about like regarding silver, is there's a couple things to think about here, right? Like, it is underperforming gold, but I think I said this yesterday. I think the problem is that, number one, the jewelry aspect of it. People are a lot like, before massive inflation happened, like it's been happening for the last century, really, jewelry used a lot of silver. And it still does to a certain extent. But silver used to be a flex. Owning silver, like, ooh, you got silver jewelry. Now it's not really the case anymore because simply prices have gone up so much, right? And that's number one. Number two is in a very similar thing to lithium, right? Lithium went down in value over time because more mines opened up. Basically, lithium became more necessary for technology, specifically EVs, autonomous driving, batteries. And so over time, you saw lithium price go down, not up, because it was more needed for technology. And so it was more abundant now because technology leaders found ways to get cheaper lithium, and that lowered the price of lithium over time. And I think because silver has a similar thing in which we still need silver a heavy amount for technology, you know, I think it has less long-term protection, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not sure. I'm straight up guessing, speculating, you know. But I think that's a little bit different relative to gold. But I still think silver's good long term. It's probably going to go up long term. It's a precious metal, and it has underperformed gold, so it's not as extended since 2016. Yeah, Tesla, buy the rumor, sell the news event hit with this. Like we said, Tesla down 224s right now. Tesla down big. What happened with Tesla? Did the world not like the dancing robots? I guess not. Gold beat the S&P. Yeah, gold has like 7 or 8x over the last 10 years, 25 years. You know, that's beat the S&P. I think the S&P is like 5 or 6x. Although it might be better now. I haven't checked it since it broke highs. I'm not sure what the percentage increase or decrease is. It's hundreds of percent for sure, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Nvidia sitting just under that previous closing price. So Nvidia right under the previous closing price. We got exactly 6 minutes left. 6 minutes left, chat. And we are going to be day trading on Top Step X. And so again, if you want to day trade, do not risk your own money. Everybody wants to look cool. Everybody thinks they're going to be rich guru. I'm here to tell you, you're probably not going to be. You're probably just going to lose thousands of dollars if you risk thousands of dollars as a brand new day trader. Try a funded account program. Top Step is one of the most legit in the world. They give you a demo, test your skill with it in futures. If you pass the test, you got to make 3K without losing 2K on the first one. Only $49 a month. If you do that, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And once you do that, you can then like build up profit if you're good enough, withdraw and fund your own account. If you fail, you only lose $49 for the base one. It genuinely limits your risk, and most day traders lose. And so if you don't pass it, you probably would have lost more money putting the money up yourself. If you do pass it, you still get a similar split to funding yourself at 90%. And in the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, some currencies, gold, silver, the Russell, the Dow. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. And the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion, is that Top Step X allows you to do it with zero commissions. Look at the commissions, zero, only 74 cents in fees per trade. So I can make 9, 14, 350, $1, $4, 150, $4, $2, still net profit in most of these. And still make a really nice green day. Very similar to day trading stocks. There's just a lot more benefits, I think, and a lot less risk in these funded account programs. But they are an affiliate or a sponsor of mine. If you want to check them out, they do pay me money. I'm biased because of it, of course. Definitely top 3 most biased person in the world right now. But if you want to check it out, great way to learn how to day trade, have a middle ground of pressure for learning how to day trade. And most day traders lose. And so I think that's probably the same here. Most day traders lose no matter where they go. But it's a lot cheaper to lose here, in my opinion. Whenever you got to follow the rules area, look up all the rules there, brother. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Yeah, just remember, guys, the trading space is super emotional. It really is. Like, everybody has a big ego. Nobody wants to be wrong. People argue about all this different stuff. Again, somebody was arguing with me. And again, it's all love here. Like, y'all can... I hope we can agree to disagree without y'all getting emotional about it, you know? Somebody was arguing with me about cauliflower ear. Saying... Again, I think you got to look at it and be like, hey, at least it might be a little bit genetic, right? I think you got to have an open mind for it. You can't be too rigid, I think, in that regard. But listen, it's all love. We can agree to disagree. But... And my point of this is we should be able to agree or disagree regarding Tesla, regarding stocks, regarding anything. And that should be understandable. That's the nature of the stock market. People are different. People have different experiences. They believe different things. And that's okay, guys. That's okay. I appreciate all the love here and the support. Beautiful community. We got 1,600 people watching here. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can break 2K before this event. I think we will. I'm not going to give an estimate on PPI because I genuinely don't know PPI. CPI is what I'm usually better at predicting. PPI, I'm not as good. Hey, good morning, chat. Coming in hot today. Hey, nice. Espresso. Congrats. Just woke up and hopped on the stream. Has Elon finally started the event? Yeah, you missed it last night. All right. 2.5 minutes, chat. 2.5 minutes. The gold spammers are silent. Yeah, dude, I had to come out there and just basically, like, boot them out of here. All right, chat. 2 minutes. Two minutes, guys. From Romania. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm not sure MOBY. I'm sure you could try it. Jiu-jitsu moves on the gold spammers. Not today. Dump, I don't know. Is the Blackwell chip sold out for 2025? I heard something about it. Lesson will be learned, always bet against Tesla. Unless it's leading up to an event. Alright, chat, a minute and a half left. We basically got 2,000 people here. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Well, there's a lot of reasons, Daniel. To be honest, I don't really need to get funded, you know, versus a lot of other people, right? Like, my TOS account most of this year has had hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. I just don't need to get funded. And I could, you know, again, that's just me being real about it. And so we try to get funded, but we trade very small anyway. Like, I have my own system that I trade on my account. On TOS, and I usually it's scalp, so it's very quick 10-15 second trades, and in that situation I don't mind making 20-30 bucks. If I do it over and over again, then we're okay. Anyways, guys, here we go. We got less than a minute, 40 seconds, chat. 40 seconds. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We got 2,000 people here live. Thanks so much, chat. I appreciate the love. Let's keep the growth up here. Here we go. Here's gold on the right. We got Tesla in the middle. I'm going to put up the SPY. Here's the SPY in the middle. Gold on the right. NVIDIA on the left. 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds. It's Friday. We ain't got no job, and all we have to do is watch PPI inflation data today, guys. PPI inflation data. Here we go. PPI expected at 0.1%, and it came in at 0%, chat. 0% PPI versus 0.1% expected. Lower PPI than expected. 0% versus 0.1% expected. Core PPI showed up as expected month over month and a little bit higher than expected year over year. But year over year is the least important core PPI metric. Regular PPI month to month was better than expected. Regular PPI year to year was a little bit higher than expected, but month to month it actually was lower than expected for PPI month to month. It came in at 0% versus 0.1% expected, chat. We'll put this up on screen. 0% versus 0.1% expected. Slightly better than expected. Gold and the market have slightly gone up on this. We'll see if the SPY can break lifetime highs again. NVIDIA's testing towards the previous close, so we're moving there, guys. But again, Canadian unemployment showed up at 6.5%, better than 6.7% expected. PPI showed up at 0% month to month versus 0.1% expected. Core showed up higher than expected year over year for core PPI. Month to month was flat, and that's the report. 1.8% for year over year PPI. But yeah, PPI better than expected, chat. PPI better than expected. Core PPI. Yeah. 1.8 versus 1.6. What does that everything say? Okay, yeah, but PPI again, guys, month over month, 0%. 0%. PPI 0%. We'll see if it happens. Do you think this is good or bad for markets, guys? Good or bad for markets? We'll put this up on screen. Again, 0% month to month for PPI. Market likes it. Yeah, so market's up. Gold is up. SPY is up. NVIDIA is up. Gold broke highs of the day, I think. Yeah, gold broke highs of the day on this report, guys. So gold just broke highs of the day. SPY just broke highs of the day. NVIDIA got over to the green level here. Or NVIDIA is not highs of the day. Wait, let me see. Yeah, NVIDIA is about to test highs of the day, but NVIDIA broke recent 4-hour highs. NVIDIA is pushing up too, so this is making the market move up some. Core PPI came in at 0.2% as well, so I'll put this up on screen also. But yeah, better than expected, I would say, for this data. Which is why I don't try to predict it, because it's a little bit different, right? Like CPI, we can look at payroll numbers. PPI, we have to look at the CPI report, and that varies, you know. So again, and we're going to day trade some of this move. If you haven't already, again, check out Top Step X. We are going to be day trading some of this move here. So far, so good. Market's also down a little bit, so we will try to day trade this. And again, we're trading on Top Step X where there's no commissions. You can see the last string of trades I got in here. Literally no commissions. I need a pullback, though. And this is, I'm basically day trading the QQQ on Top Step here. This is basically the QQQ price action. We're looking at gold on the right side. There's a pullback. I'm going to buy into this dip. 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts. All right, so we got 4 contracts here. So far, so good. Took a piece off, lock it in, protect it. See if we get a little bounce. Take a little bit more off there, lock it in, protect it. Again, so far, so good here this morning. Take a little bit more off there, lock it in, protect it. 1 contract left, we might add to it. And again, this is on Top Step X. There's no commissions. I can day trade basically the QQQ price action with no commissions, no PDT roll on Top Step X. Again, they give you a demo, test your skill with it first. If you pass the test, we're going to go ahead and cut the rest there. So we just made about 15 bucks. Small little gain buying that dip. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, they're one of the most legit. They paid out over 40 million. They're a sponsor of mine though. But again, the biggest edge in funding is Top Step X right now. And so if you want to check it out, here's the link. Yeah, I mean, Mike. So Mike McGuire, I asked you this before. Why do you think it's 30%? Why do you think it's 1 out of 3 chance? Explain that for me, please. I didn't really make a prediction for PPI though. Yeah, I would say this is bullish. Yeah. I think when we saw CPI come in higher than expected, we want to see PPI do a similar thing. But who knows, man? Nobody knows what's going to happen. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, right? So nobody really freaking knows what's going to happen here. And sometimes the first move is wrong. We got a big pullback at everything. So we got a little breakdown and everything now. We're going to see if we bounce back up. It's PPI data. We're starting to flush down a little bit. I think we're going to keep coming down, though, in correction, but I might be wrong here. It came out lower than expected. It came out at 0% versus 0.1% for the most important one. The most important one is month-to-month PPI data. That came in lower than expected. The rest came in either as expected or higher than expected. So I think it's a little bit better than expected, but I do think it varies. Yeah, so we're keeping dropping here like I thought we might. And we did make some money yesterday. The Tesla event last night was underwhelming for a lot of people, I guess. I thought it was good, but that's just me. I don't know. Nvidia testing that previous close. Yeah, so Nvidia testing that previous close. And again, if you haven't already, guys, check out Top Step. We've been trading on them today. We're going to see if we get a little bounce. Gold came all the way back down. And again, sometimes the first move is the wrong move with these reports. Yeah, is the market open Monday or no? Is the market open Monday or no? Yeah, so we did come back down. Bond market is closed. Yep, we did come all the way back down here. First move was the wrong move with PPI data. TD Bank hit with 3 billion. Yeah. Yeah, we're watching the market here, chat. We're just sitting tight, waiting. Invite Roaring Kitty. Yeah, I don't think he would show up for my stream. Yeah, we're watching the market basically flush down here. I don't know if we're going to get choppiness today or what, but look at PPI. Just reverse the markets. Nvidia bouncing back up a little bit too, though. So Nvidia's trying to fight its way back up here. We'll see if it does. If he did, what would you say to him? I would say good job. Right? Like, I know he's gone on, like, Bulldog trading stream before. Gold trying to bounce. Yeah, I mean, gold's still down there. A lot of stuff's still down here, though. The market is actually looking kind of weak here, man. Still just flushing down after this report. So the first move was the wrong move and just turned. Look at Nvidia flush. Yeah. Nvidia needs a break as well. Yeah, for sure. It does. Definitely does. Yeah, so Nvidia definitely needs a little bit of a break. It's up to close to lifetime highs, and I wonder if Nvidia is going to push up and start to really like test these big high levels, right? Like that's what I want to see. Is Nvidia going to move up and really start to test some of these big high levels? You know, Nvidia highs are not very far away from us. You know, so Nvidia highs are right there. You know, they're not far away from where we are now. You know. And so the question is, like, a lot of the time these high of the day levels can be like magnets leading into it, right? And so with that in mind, if this is going to happen, you know, the question is, does Nvidia get close to lifetime highs at 140.7 or whatever it is, and start to have like a magnetic like momentum just pushing it higher and higher and higher? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You know, we'll see again. Y'all stick around. Hit the sub button. Hit the notification bell, chat. I appreciate the love. All right, so we got a little bounce. We could be starting a downward trend, but we're kind of flat right now. What I want to see is Nvidia break over this level. Yeah, so we had the big air show. I thought there was going to be a drone show, though. Did I miss it or something yesterday? CPI and PPI today suggest that the Fed might go with no rate cut or 25, which is good. Yeah, let's see if the rate decisions have been affected by everything here. So, like, here's the rate decisions in 27 days. I don't see a change in this. It's still 87% of people basically expecting a 25 basis point cut. 14% of people expecting a pause in rates. So we'll see. We'll see. Hello. Hey. All right, baby. All right, love you. Bye. All right. Carol calls me same time every day. It's like clockwork. I love her. I appreciate her. But yeah, the cuts are happening, right? Like, we're going to cut more this year. I don't think we're going to pause at all. I think we're going to do, I think instead of 50 basis points, I think we'll probably cut a full percentage point in 2024. Meaning last time we did 25, or last time we did 50. And this is what they said during the last FOMC meeting 3 weeks ago. Last time we did 50. November, we're going to do 25. December, we're going to do 25. The only way we wouldn't do this plan right here, the only way we would not follow through with this plan is if, like, inflation data spiked massively, which it didn't, right? CPI inflation came in mostly flat. It actually slowed month to month, right? So last time it was like a little bit, it was like 0.3% or year over year was like 2.5%. This time it showed up at 2.4%. So it slowed a little bit relative to the last period a year ago, as well as it slowed a little bit month to month, which is good, right? The only way we would not cut rates is if we had like big inflation spikes. And again, we still have one more inflation report to drop before the next meeting, you know? So I'm trying to see, when is the next meeting? The next meeting is November 7th. Yeah, so the next, yesterday was the last CPI report. CPI, to put this into perspective, almost always drops 2 weeks into the month. So CPI will usually come out anywhere between the 10th and the 15th of the month. Almost always. It's almost always like that. And so the next meeting is on November 7th. And so we're not going to get another CPI report before the Fed's decision there. The other thing to consider is the next PCE report, which is the Fed's preferred metric, right? The next PCE report drops on Halloween, on October 31st. And so we will get that a week prior to the Fed decision. And that could always influence things for sure. But yeah, that's what you got to understand about it. Yeah, the data's right here at the bottom of the screen, chat. It's here. Yeah. Tesla broke. Yeah, Tesla just went down as a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So it's just a buy the rumor, sell the news event. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Again, we are going to be day trading today. You believe in love? Do you believe in love? I don't know. Dude, that song used to come on the radio so much in the 90s and early 2000s. I was like 10 years old. I'm like, yeah, I believe in love, you know? Living life. But every time I hear that song, it reminds me of like early 2000s. Looking at buying a used truck from a dealership. Any car buying tips, John? Yeah, don't buy a brand new car. Definitely don't finance it. Again, one of the single biggest, like, if you do not have FU money, meaning you've got millions of dollars, you should never, ever, ever buy a brand new car. And I know this might be a little bit controversial for some people. Some people who have bought brand new cars might hear this and it might rub them the wrong way, and you might get emotional about it. I'm here to tell you there's not really an argument for buying a new car. Like, the problem, everybody wants to look rich. Everybody wants to live above their means. Everybody wants to be flashy and look wealthy, right? But most people are not wealthy, right? And buying a new car is one of the single worst financial decisions you could ever make. And so just buy a used car. You can get a really nice used car with like low mileage for 50% less than the new car, right? You're paying a premium to buy a new car. You should definitely not finance it. Financing a new car, terrible mistake. Lock yourself into long-term debt on a super depreciating asset. By the time you're done paying that thing off, you're going to lose everything from it. But again, everybody wants to look rich, live above their means. And if I say this, they get emotional sometimes. And just listen, I'm not here to talk smack. It's just the truth. Do not buy a new car. It's one of the worst decisions. As soon as you drive that thing off the lot, you're losing 30% at least. And I get it. I love cars, bro. I really do. Listen, I love cars. Even if you got $1 million, right? You see people who make of their first $1 million, they buy like a supercar with it. Unless you're playing for the NFL and you've got like future salary lock on everything, like you know you're going to make big money in the future, that's different, you know? But if you make $1 million doing something, are you really going to burn 20 to 30% of that on a super depreciating asset? You shouldn't, you know? But that's the biggest mistake most people make, I think, in terms of like buying. Like you get a house for that. You know, for $200K, $250K, you can get a cheap house, you know? But that cheap house will make you money long term, you know? Car's going to lose money long term. Now, at the same time, like, listen, I've talked a lot of smack about it. I think that you also got to look at it from this perspective, though. You got to live life, right? Like, we can save and we can invest and, like, we can all do all that stuff. But if you're not enjoying life, what's the point? You know, and I understand that as well, I guess, you know. So I guess I'm okay with it. You just got to understand it's a bad decision, you know. But if you're okay with making that bad decision so you can feel good and drive something cool, do whatever you want to do, you know. People are like, be happy, I guess is the point. You got some people who basically spend their whole life saving for when they're 65. And I think that's dumb as well. You know, I don't want to live good when I'm 65. I want to live good now. And, you know, when I'm 65, no offense, but my life's edging towards the end of it. I want to live good now. But to live good now, you got to take risks. And so that's something I always say. And it's important for people to understand. If you want to live good now, you got to take risks. But I've given this stat before. You know, most businesses fail. So 4 out of 5 businesses, or it's actually 5 out of 6 businesses fail. Right? But what that means is that 1 out of 6 businesses succeed. And so if you want to succeed at business, you got to just keep trying. Keep trying different stuff. Monetize what you're passionate about is the easiest way to do it. Figure out what you enjoy and target that. And I'm sure the odds of success are going to go up if you target something you genuinely enjoy. But yeah. Again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly. Guys, have no idea what I'm freaking talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything. Hmm. Yeah, honestly, it's not bad advice. You're quoting the Gambler movie, which is a great movie with Mark Wahlberg in it, and he's not lying, right? Like this is John Goodman on the Gambler movie. I'm gonna censor it for some of the cursing parts, but it's honestly absolutely freaking true. Okay, you get up $2.5 million. If you're up $2.5 million, any jerk in the world knows what to do with it. You get a house with a 25-year roof. You get a super reliable super reliable cheap car, economy car. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. That's your fortress of effing solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at the level of F you. Someone wants you to do something, F you. Your boss pisses you off, F you. Own your house, have a couple bucks in the bank, don't drink, right? That's all I have to say to anybody at any social level. Absolutely true, right? And this is from a movie called The Gambler. Absolutely freaking true. This is what I try to say every day. Most people don't do this, though. Most people get a couple $1 million. They spend 40% of it on nonsense, total crap, right? But yeah. And he's not lying. Yeah. I mean, you can incorporate your normal life, but that's going to be hard to do. I agree they are a waste of money too, but if you need a car, I personally would rather buy a new one. Well, I mean, personally, I'd rather win the lottery every day in a row and live in a $10 million house and drive a Mercedes-Benz everywhere I go and drive a Ferrari on the weekends, personally. I think I'd rather do that too, but it doesn't mean you should, right? I'd rather wipe my butt with $100 bills. Not really, but don't miss my point here, which is that I would rather a lot of stuff, right? It doesn't mean I should, I'd rather eat fried chicken every day. Doesn't mean I should, I'd rather eat cinnamon rolls for lunch every day, Doesn't mean I should. Yeah, Tesla, buy the rumor, sell the news. Very predictable. I'm just messing with whoever said that, though. But my point is, look, the overarching point I'm trying to make here is you could buy a used car, 50% less, with 20, 30,000 miles on it. Warranties are nonsense anyway. Anybody tries to sell you on a warranty, they're just marketing to you. They're hoping you're dumb enough to buy it, right? It's genuinely never worth it. Warranties are never worth it. Not in car terms. You got some other house warranties that there's a little bit more nuance behind it, but in car terms, never get the extended warranty. That's a sucker's bet. They're hoping you're dumb enough to buy it. They're hoping you're so excited to buy your car that you just ignore the red flags behind the warranty. It's just not usually a good move. But you could get a used car that's incredibly reliable, 50% less. Definitely not locking yourself into long-term debt. I love fried chicken too. I love barbecue. My favorite foods are barbecue and Tex-Mex. But I can't eat it every day because I'll get sick. 20 to 30 miles is a heck of a lot. Nah, 20 to 30,000 miles. It depends on what kind of car, But yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you're asking me where can I buy. Look, I'm going to show you the difference, okay? I can get right now a brand new Toyota Tacoma, okay, 2024 at about $70,000 for a brand new Toyota Tacoma. Again, TRD, 67,700, right? I can get the same, another Toyota Tacoma. Let's see if I can find a. I get a Toyota Tacoma TRD for $28,000, literally 50% less, almost exactly 50% less, a little bit under 50% to be honest here. And so yeah, I can get a 2021 Toyota Tacoma, 40,000 miles on it, 27 grand, right? I buy a new Toyota Tacoma right now, it's gonna be 70 grand, and so it's literally over 50% down. That is my point. Right, and again, this is people want to buy new. They get talked into buying new. They think it's a good idea. It's almost never a good idea. And a Toyota will last 200,000 miles. You know, but the point is, by the time that matters, the new car is going to depreciate so much. It's going to be worth a very similar thing to the used car. You know. No, I know. I'm just kind of messing with you, bro. It's all good. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, 30K is nothing for a Toyota, for sure. Yeah, but even so, I guess so. Waito says my brother bought a 5-year used car. First 2 months, he spent $2,000 on it, on its NOx sensor, on its NOS sensor, and other BS. Again, it doesn't matter, right? Number one, buying a 5-year-old plus used car is different from buying a 2 or 3-year-old used car. You should be able to get a used car with 30, 40,000 miles on it that's 2 or 3 years old for 50, 60% less. And again, the Toyota example I just showed you shows you can. But even if you buy a used car and spend $2,000 on a sensor, it's still better than spending $40,000 extra just to get it new, right? Like even if you dump 15K into it, you're still probably going to save money. And that's my point, you know. But everybody's different. Tesla, let's talk about Tesla. SPY back up, very choppy range. Nvidia broke down a little bit, but Nvidia is getting close to, again, the lifetime high at 140.7 thousand. It's at 135,000, 134.5 thousand right now. So it's getting close, Chad. It is getting close. Valid point that I understand. Yeah, for sure. It's all love, bro. It's all good. Everybody's different, man. I can't judge. Everybody has a different situation, you know. It really is. Everybody's different, man. I really can't judge. But what I'm trying to say is like don't fall into that trap, especially financing a new car is where they get you, right? Like financing a new car. By the time you're done paying that loan off, that car is going to be worth nothing, you know. And that's where people get trapped the most, I would say, you know. Tell Carol you want to start buying used. I mean, we got 3 cars. I make enough money to where I can buy a brand new car if I want to. You know, no offense, but I can. Do I? Not really. Most of the time I don't, but I can if I want to. They give you a free PlayStation though. Yeah, hey. They get you somehow, man. Well, yeah, so you could buy it on a company, but it has to weigh over 6,000 pounds, right? I was looking at buying a company car, but it has to weigh over 6K. And so you're not going to be able to get most cars for that. You can buy a truck. That's different. You can write off the truck. But it has to weigh over 6,000. There's like a specific limit now with the IRS in terms of company vehicles and what you're allowed to write off. And in reality, no one cares if it's brand new. Nobody knows the difference between a brand new and a 2 or 3 year car passing it on the road. Nobody knows the freaking difference. They all look new. Yeah. I was looking at a G-Wagon too. I'd probably just get a Cybertruck. For me though, it wouldn't be able to, like, I couldn't use it for this business, which is mostly social media related. I'd have to use it for like real estate business, you know, or something like that. So Wells Fargo did report earnings. Right, they did drop earnings. They posted. So food and transportation costs jumped a little bit. Wells Fargo posted third quarter revenue of $20.37 billion. Better than expected third quarter GAAP results. GAAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. Doesn't really mean much though, GAAP. Like, there's a lot better metrics to look at, to be honest. EPS was 142 for the third quarter for Wells Fargo. So yeah, WFC ended up posting 152 versus 127 expected, 31.67 billion versus 20.4 billion expected. So they did pretty good. You bought a used Cybertruck? I mean, I'm not buying a Cybertruck anyway. Man, dude. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the market rip up. Gold's popping up a little bit. The SPY moving up. Nvidia's still popping. Look at this ear. Yeah, look at this ear. Oof. It hurts, guys. It hurts, man. I might cry about it. Here in Cali, we have landscapers. Yeah, for sure. I mean, live your life, you know. No, this is magnets. Again, for a little bit of cauliflower ear I have on my left ear. Like, it doesn't hurt when you first put these magnets on, but when I wear it for like an hour plus, that's when it starts to really genuinely be uncomfortable. It's doing a good job of keeping the blood out though, which is good. Yeah, it hurts, man. SPY at 576. Tesla, let's take a look at it. Yeah, Tesla down to 223. It's very choppy, very middle range, neutral range here. Yeah. Whew. No, the whole point of these is like, so cauliflower ear is basically when the blood and calcium from swelling in your ears, from a hematoma basically, fills your, like, makes your ears swell with a hematoma. And then if you don't drain it and keep the blood from flowing into that part, then it will harden and form like cauliflower ear. And so if I want to avoid it, I have to basically wear magnets. Yeah. Too much time in the octagon. I'm not in any octagon, bro. I'm a hobbyist, you know. I train a lot, you know. I probably train 5-6 days a week usually. I've got that ADHD obsession for stuff, you know. I was talking to my dad yesterday about it, and people with ADHD, my dad definitely has ADHD. He refuses to admit it. Super smart guy, right? Super smart guy. But my dad's into like ham radios, and so he has these like little obsessions that he's interested in. It's definitely ADHD, and I'll do it too. Like, I'll get hyper focused on something and obsessive about it for however long it can hold my interest. Jiu-jitsu's held my interest for over, you know, a year now, and so you just kind of go. Jiu-jitsu's super addicting though. If you've never done it, it's really fun. Yeah, and I do think ADHD, so many people are claiming they have ADHD, and they're latching on these characteristics of it that are just normal characteristics for everything. But I do think there's some specific people that absolutely have it, and I think the behaviors that somebody like my son definitely has it. He's different. He's different from every other kid in his class. He, you know, we got his IQ tested, super high IQ, but one of the biggest signs at an early age is a bad impulse control, right? He just has bad impulse control. If somebody tells him to do something, he really wants to do the opposite. But also high IQ, bad impulse control, hyperactivity to a point in which if he's not interested in something, it's like so difficult to get him to focus on it. But he also doesn't like sitting in class. He gets over fidgety in class and literally wants to stand up the entire class every day. So, and he's not on any medications or anything for it. So it's just different. But I think a lot of other people, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I watched UFC 307. They say Pereira was sick too. 4-year white belt, man. Yeah, my dad's really big into ham radios. Sounds like a regular boy. He's different from every other kid in his class. He's really smart, though. And he learns something very fast. He's just got to be interested in it. And that's the hard part, is figuring out a way to get him interested in it. Like in school, something that I would always do is I would always... Like if I had a test, I was always really good at test taking, right? Like I could basically study the morning of, cram everything in an hour or two, take the test and do well. And my son is generally like that too. But the hard part is to get him to study, you know? Yeah. Yeah, we've seen a couple people about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my son plays chess. He plays checkers. He does a little bit of BJJ. And so we try to get him on stuff, you know. Yeah, for sure. It's just hard to get him to focus. Smart kid, though. Genuinely good kid. My daughter is more of like a social butterfly. She really, like, she's smart too. But she's more so very good socially, not awkward at all. Really good at like debate and like persuasion and logic, you know. She's been dealing with me her whole life, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about these weird random cryptos. If it's not located on a major, I guess it's on coin market cap. Yeah, there's too many people trying to pump these like really new crypto coins. I'm just really skeptical about it. So I'm trying to see if there is. Somebody that knows crypto, is this Wolf crypto a scam? It seems like it. I can't find anything about it, and usually people go from room to room trying to scam people, get them to buy nonsense, so just don't buy it. Yeah, he's good at chess, you know. I've played chess and checkers with him. I play chess and checkers with my whole house, and you know, I don't let him beat me, you know. So like, I mean, I'm not bragging because I'm playing against like kids, right? But they've never beat me, and I'm not gonna let them beat me. I told them the same thing with like racing me on feet. I told my kids, eventually one day they will be able to beat me on a race, and they will be able to beat me in chess and checkers. But I'm not gonna let them, you know. And I think that helps build their, you know, their resilience and skill up a little bit more than if you just kind of sugarcoat it and let them win. Every time we're out, my son wants to race me, though, on feet. Yeah, I don't really look at crypto too much outside of the big boys, Bitcoin, ETH. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes until the market opens. All right. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, chat. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Yeah, we got We're heading towards 150,000. We broke 148K yesterday. It's a nice day outside too, man. The weather's actually really nice. We actually have some cool weather for once. Yeah, so Money Mitch safe from the hurricane. Good, man. Yeah, so Elon Musk introduces the army of Optimus robots. He says people will be able to buy them to complete tasks. Yeah. The robotaxi looks really cool, honestly. Yeah, it has 001, so it must be the first one. Yeah, so the Robo-Van looks cool too. If you didn't see the Robo-Van, this is the Robo-Van right now, the Tesla Robo-Van. It's supposed to be, I'm not sure how many people it's supposed to fit. He called it the Robovan. I don't know why, but that's the Robovan, or the Robo-Van. I'm not sure why he pronounced it. Yeah, PPI's out. My favorite trading strategy is mostly range related. And once they start to beat you, they're never going to let you win again. I don't want them to let me win. I want my kids to do well. Right? I tell my kids all the time, like, I want you to be better than I am at everything. You know, I want my kids to be more successful than I am at everything. I want them to, you know, but they got to earn it, you know. You got to build competition, you know. You got to make competitive people do well a lot of the time. You just got to make sure. 20 people? Do they really fit 20? That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I would just be careful. There's a lot of crypto. We have robots delivering food in my city. 100% no human comes right to your door. I'm in my 30s. If they're more successful than you, they can finance your rent later. Yeah, somehow I imagine it's going to be the other way around. So pew pew, I can't say the S word that starts with skib and ends with E. I promised my daughter. My daughter's always tried to, for whatever reason, get me on videotape saying it. And I've always kind of said it wrong. I've said just other random stuff just to kind of troll her a little bit, I guess. And I promised her I would only say it once she graduates high school. And so I'm not allowed to say that until she graduates, which is probably a good thing anyway. But it's a deal I've made with my daughter. She graduates high school, I will say that word. Yeah. No one of you guys, somehow they'd get back to her. All right, look at gold popping up. Gold up to 2660s. Tesla breaking lows. Just broke lows of the day, down to 221s. Nvidia down there too. Gold's trying to move up some. We'll see if it holds. Yeah. It's just kind of a running joke my channel has. I'm so competitive with my kids. I have a nickname in my family. And it started out as a nickname that I gave myself when I was bowling. As like I kind of made up everybody's names. I'm kind of like a jokester in my family. Y'all could probably tell on stream that I make a lot of jokes, right? Like, that's how I really am in real life. But my nickname that I gave myself is Win Papa, because I always win. I think I gave Carol a name called like Carol Two Shoes or something like that. We got a bunch of bowling names. I'm trying to think of my daughter's name. I can't remember what we gave my daughter. But my daughter's never let it stop, so she calls me Win Papa. I like it. My daughter's phone, that's what I'm scheduled in there as, is Win Papa. Market, yeah, the market did not like the event. We're at 222s for Tesla. Again, Tesla, these events are almost always the same thing, and they're highly predictable. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. It's Tesla goes up a lot leading into this big event, and then after this big event, it corrects to the downside. Highest bowling score. There was one freak occurrence, Terry, where I went bowling, and I got like 6 or 7 strikes in a row. I was kind of freaked out by it, you know. But I got 1 strike. And then I remember I told myself, I was like, I'm going to try to do exactly what I just did. And then I got another strike. And I'm not like a big bowler. I've only bowled, I've probably bowled 10 times max my whole life. But we went with my wife's cousin and her husband. And her husband was in like a bowling league and all this stuff. And we ended up going with them. And I don't know how it happened. My family still kind of talks about it. It's like an event in our history of life. The lore of our family. I got like 7 strikes in a row. I ended up getting like a 200 and something score in bowling, which I know is not even that good. But to me, for a bowler that's only done it 10 times, it was kind of weird. And he was kind of mad about it. Like the guy from the bowling league was kind of upset. I'm not sure why. I don't know. But for like a couple day period, I thought I was going to be like a pro bowler, basically. I go back. And I'm like, hey, let's go bowling again. I'm bringing up like, hey, let's go bowling again. I go bowling. I get like a 70 the next time. And so pure luck, random luck. For a time, I was like the top 3 bowlers in the world for sure. But then, it just didn't stick, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I went in there thinking I was going to just do that. And I got like a 70 next time. Anybody trading the Dow? I don't really trade the Dow. The Dow is a little bit, it's just different versus what I usually trade. Dow is /YM. It's up to 43,000. I remember when it was at 35K, so I can see how much it's gone up over time. It's at 43,000 roughly right now. JP Morgan had earnings. Yep, bank earnings. Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, BLK, BlackRock had earnings. Tesla up to 222s. Broke lows just now. It's starting to bounce back. Gold's right around highs of the day. Nvidia's down at 134.30s. Yeah, definitely ego, Definitely ego. All right, guys, Palantir at 43.40. So Palantir had a big rise yesterday. Uber had a good reaction to all this stuff, too, based off of, I guess, Tesla not encroaching on their business model as much as people originally thought with these robotaxi cybercabs. Uber's up. Uber's up. It's Brazilian Jiu-jitsu is what it is. I train at one of the Gracie gyms. I think institutional investors were the most disappointed. Yeah, I mean, maybe. The real problem is how long does it take to implement all this stuff? You know, the reason it's buy the rumor, sell the news ahead of Tesla events is because usually Elon overpromises and underdelivers. And so we could talk about all this cool stuff, but the real question is, can they actually execute and implement it? And that's a big question. And so that's what we'll have to wait on. Can Jiu-Jitsu beat Judo? In self-defense, no. I don't think so. Why? Because if you're good at Judo, you're basically like hitting somebody with the ground. And like Judo does submissions, right? But Judo does submissions much more quickly than like BJJ. BJJ is basically pure ground game. Judo most of the time has submissions as well, right? So they're both good at different stuff. But Judo, if you roll against somebody that's actually good at Judo, then it's just different, right? I know a couple people, but everybody's different, you know. Everybody's different. Different opponents are going to be good or bad. Well, Aikido's nonsense most of the time. I'm not saying there's no use case argument for Aikido, but it's nonsense. Again, the problem is that you got a bunch of people that spent their whole life practicing Aikido. You know, so if they hear me say, hey, Aikido's nonsense, they get emotional about it because they want to believe so bad that it's useful, but it's just not, you know. Not in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tesla at 222, still trying to come back a little bit from it. NVIDIA break it down a little bit. It's at 134.20s. We got 5 minutes left, 4.5 minutes. You're hedging your beliefs in what way? By saying, I don't know, maybe, you know. I just always kind of try to include that so people can't get too upset. I could be wrong, you know. My most profitable coin, crazy sauce? Yeah, it's the internet, though. People, you know how people get. We're on the internet. If I disagree with them, they hate me forever. And that's okay. I use a stop loss, but it's a mental stop, Daniel. So like I'll usually set a specific level that I get out on, keep my hand over the sell button, and if it hits that level, I exit. Bobby Fischer, probably. Tariq. My family and I have been watching Queen's Gambit, which is really about Bobby Fischer, right? Usually I would be mad about them taking like the story of Bobby Fischer and like swapping and making it a female and then all that stuff, but the show's just so good that like I can't get mad at it. It's artistic. I like it. I can dig it. It's okay, you know. But Bobby Fischer was probably my favorite, you know. Aikido is dance fighting with a partner. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Steven Seagal ruined it, you know. Any real validity that Aikido had, Seagal ruined it, you know. The problem is like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? Early 90s. Before MMA was a thing, people could make up these martial arts. Not make up the martial arts, but people could participate in these martial arts. And there's no real way to test it. Like there's no real world testing ability outside of like the early Gracies going around testing BJJ with everybody else, right? So you had all these martial arts like Kung Fu, like Aikido, that, you know, you could tell people you were a black belt in it and everybody be like, ooh, you know. But then once MMA started to happen and like jiu-jitsu tournaments, grappling tournaments, all that stuff started to happen, the real martial arts started to rise to the top. And like the nonsense martial arts that everybody was acting like they were great, like Steven Seagal, really, people started identifying that they were nonsense, you know. But it still didn't stop a lot of gyms from opening up around those nonsense martial arts. And then a lot of people got wrapped up in it and they participated. Like if you spend 10 years of your life learning Aikido, it's a really hard thing to hear that it might be total, complete nonsense, you know. But at the same time, if you dedicate your life 10 years to total, complete nonsense, I'm not saying you deserve it, but, you know, you got to be stronger than that, I think, and recognize it. Tesla broke lows again. We're at 220s now. So Tesla continuing to fall, continuing to break lows. I have no idea what Palantir. I think Palantir might turn into like a nice little like mid to high cap stock coffee, but I really don't know. How did you learn how to trade? Experience like everybody else. All right, chat. Was the event yesterday that bad? I didn't think it was. We got 45 seconds. I didn't personally think it was, but a lot of other people did. So it's all good. All right, chat. Here we go. We are going to be day trading on Top Step today. Let's put it up. We've got these big breakdowns and everything. All right, so here's the opening bell, guys. 10 seconds. Yeah, the hour late thing. I don't know why he was an hour late. All right, there's the bell, chat. Let's watch Nvidia. We're gonna watch Tesla. We're gonna watch gold. All right, we're getting breakdowns at the opening bell here. Let me put myself in the corner over here. Let's see what we get. Palantir up. Nvidia spiked up a little bit. I gotta wait and let that first 5 minutes play out first here, chat. I wanna let the first 5 minutes play out. Yeah, that's what he said, Solo, but that seems, you know, an hour late for something like that seems a little off. I feel like he might have done it intentionally to build hype, but I don't think it helped. Right, so we got a flush breakdown. Nvidia's still rising. Nvidia is shooting up a little bit. Again, we're 1 minute into the open. We're going to let the first opening bell play. All right, so we are breaking up here. There's Nvidia at 134.70s. All right, so we did a rebound. Look at Nvidia shoot up. So far flying. Yeah, Tesla down to 217s now. Although the market's kind of bouncing up a little bit. Again, we're 3 minutes into the day. Here, okay, good. All right, so we are starting to flush down here. Everything looks weak now. Yep, there we go. Y'all hit that subscribe button, chat. Help me keep growing here. I appreciate the love. right, so we're heading back up here. I was gonna short this, but it looks like a little bit too late. We're 4 minutes into the open. All right. Yeah, we're waiting here, Chad. I'm trying to be patient and wait for something. Very weird sideways-like range here. Look at NVIDIA pop. All right, so we're going to start shorting 2 contracts. Somehow we made some money there. And then we just got out. Gonna wait. And again, we're trading on Top Step X if you want to trade with me. I'm trading futures. I'm basically trading the QQQ price action in futures. I can day trade them in futures. No PDT restrictions. This is a 50K funded account. So this is 50K in funding on Top Step, which is a funded program. Best edge in funding. They give you a demo, test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. Literally no commissions. The biggest edge in funding right now. If you want to check it out, there's the link. Get exposure to day trading for limited risk. $49 a month for the base one. And most day traders lose, but they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, but still. All right, big breakdown here. Big breakdown. I'm gonna buy this, I guess. See if we get a little pop up here. 2 contracts. So, we got out for a piece there, and it was small. No, you can use it outside the U.S., I'm pretty sure. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. Who? Alright. All right, so we ended up getting out of the trade. We were trying to be patient with it, but man, oh, it depends on where you are. In different countries they don't allow it. So, choppy right now, guys. It's Friday. We ain't got no job, and we ain't got ish to do but sit here and trade choppy action today. If you know the quote, you know. Honestly, one of my favorite 90s movies ever. I was on an airplane watching that movie, and people were looking at me crazy. I don't know why, but it's just a good movie, man. It's a movie I watched a lot when I was a kid and teenager, you know. That with like Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. That was always good. All right, guys, very choppy action. The question is, do we continue the chop or... Yeah. And so now we're breaking down again. We have implemented a choppy action so far. No, that movie still holds up for sure. Tesla up to 220 though, so I mean it depends on whether we think Tesla's going to bounce here or not. Nvidia is pretty sideways and choppy after the open. It's at 134.30s right now. Alright, so we're moving up a little bit. Not cooked. Yeah, you don't lose until you sell, huh? Again, very choppy right now. I don't think this choppiness is going to last, though. So I think eventually we're going to snap out of this choppy action. The question is where? I don't know. I'm going to short this. We'll take a risk based off of the we got 4 contracts here. Flat. I took half off there. Didn't really lock in too much profit on that, but that's okay. We got 4 contracts. I think it's gonna break on the downside, but I really don't know. All right, we took half off there. Another bad fill though. We're just kind of going up and down so quickly here. Somehow we got out green, but... Yeah, so it's Spencer Rattler time in New Orleans. I did see that. Derek Carr injured. And Spencer was part of that documentary. There's a lot of question marks about whether he can perform, though. I hope he does, right? Like, I hope he does. It's his time to shine if it is. It's his chance. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. It might be a freaking train wreck. Alright, I'm going to cut this position. I'm actually going to start buying maybe. So we kind of got out flat on that trade. I think we're going to start breaking out of this range now. I think it's too predictable of a range. And so we're going to start breaking out the upside is what I think here. What? I want to buy this. How did I lose there? Oh, well. 2 contracts. We will add to this too if we retrace back down some, but... Alright, 3 contracts. 4 contracts. We're going to go ahead and swing for it here, but we're also going to be ready to cut it if we need to. I just think we retrace back upward. Yep. Yep. Alright, there we go. So when you're right, you're right. I thought we retraced back upward. It's one of the things, it's hard to explain, the intuition that I get with that, but like it really is hard to explain. But to try to explain it the best I can, It kind of goes like this, okay? And I'm kind of hesitant to even tell people, but like, it kind of goes like this. We're choppy for so long, right? So we're already choppy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different confirmations in the choppy trend, right? Once we confirm the trend again here, that's when I start to say, okay, well, the trend's going to break eventually. And I'm starting to question which side it's going to break on. And so when we start to go up already and then down a little bit, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is where the trend is going to change a little bit, and maybe not. And so I'm like, hey, I think it's going to push up a little bit more. And we did break the trend. We broke the trend right here. Now, whether it continues back down, I don't know. But essentially what I'm looking at is like we're choppy, we're rangy, and that's not going to continue on forever. It's almost too predictable. And so eventually those traders that are betting on that situation to happen again are going to get squeezed out, right? And then, to be honest, I think we're still going to go up. And there we go. Yeah, we're moving up now as I say that, because that's the logic of it. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of like a flow state of watching this stuff. And I'm definitely not claiming to be even good or great at trading. But that's just the reason why I thought we might get that push up, and we did. Yeah, we'll see if the Saints win. I'm excited, man. I hope he does well. I hope Spencer goes out there and just kills it with his football, with his throwing skills, and I hope he just does it. He's a good scrambler, too. I hope he does well. I really do. And look, there's the move up. Called it. This thing hurts my freaking ear, man. Beats having Habib ears? Yep, I guess so. Go Lions? Honestly, I'm not mad if the Lions win. I'm really not. If I had to pick my football teams that I want to win, it's going to go the Saints, followed by... It would be the Saints, followed by... It would be the Saints, followed by the Bengals with Joe Burrow, followed by probably with like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, right? Followed by the Lions, I guess, you know. So I like to see the, you know. Why Joe Burrow? Because I'm from Louisiana. And so Burrow won LSU their game. I've been following Burrow ever since he was on LSU in 2019. Oh, yeah, we got the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment at 10 a.m. We'll cover that, too. Yeah, the problem is I told myself I wasn't going to train today, and I'm probably still going to go. I'm just going to wear my headset. Yeah, Burrow ain't been doing his thing. Hey, nice, Jason. Yeah, LSU, of course, that's why. Alright. Oh, dude, this thing, like, the magnets feel fine most of the time. Oh my gosh, man. Like, look at this ear. Oof. Yeah, dude. Honestly, the Bengals disappointing. Saints disappointing this year too. Saints started the year off 2-0. Lost the last 3 games. So the Bengals are number 4 in the AFC North right now. So they're doing horrible. They got a .2 win percentage. It's not much worse than the Saints. You know, Saints are 2-3, so it's not like they're talking about. But we're still early. We're still early. We're in the NFC South, which is good. A doo-doo conference. Or a doo-doo, yeah, conference. The Vikings are killing it this year. Yeah, so the Vikings still got Justin Jefferson. I want to see all the LSU players do well. So Justin Jefferson has a $35 million annual salary, 4-year, $140 million contract extension, $110 million guaranteed. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Good for him, man. Shout out to Justin Jefferson. All right, so we did push up exactly like I said we would have. I wish I would have capitalized on it more, but that's okay. I'm not a fan of Saints coach or Carr. Yeah, Derek wasn't terrible, but he's not consistent is his problem, right? So, like, Derek Carr, he's good when he's on, but he's not on every time, and that's the issue. Hey, nice, Jason. Hey, have a great one, man. Y'all be safe this weekend. Again, I'll see a lot of you guys Tuesday because Monday the market's closed. Yeah. Nvidia now over the previous closing price. Again, we got the Michigan's consumer sentiment data we're going to cover too, so stick around. We'll be here. Hey, later, Freddie. What do you think the odds are? Chiefs versus Vikings Super Bowl? I don't know. I just hope the Chiefs don't win again, man. Like, I'm not a big fan of the same team winning every year. You know, I'm just not a big fan of that. All right, so we got a good little play in it. I'm going to start shorting this pop-up here. 3 contracts. We're not going to add more to that. Took some off there. All right, just got another like $15, $20 gain. Let me see what I'm up on the day on. Yeah. The market, so Monday is Indigenous People Day / Columbus Day. Oh, is the market open? Monday? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Bond market's closed. I did think I thought I had a vacation day. I was about to relax, you know. I was about to sit tight, hang out, live life. Right, so we got 2 contracts here. I'm looking for a double top there. All right, we're about flat here. I do want to see if we flush down a little bit. Nvidia is going to be leading the way, though. It's just taking too long. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it. So we lost a little bit there. And again, we're trading on Top Steps funded program if you want to check it out. All right, we're going to add some here. 3 contracts now. We got a cushion we can play with. There we go. There we go. So just made it right back. Ugh. Market's starting to slow down, though. We do have the Michigan consumer sentiment data in about a minute. About 2 minutes, actually. Sorry. All right, so we did get a breakdown, so we're actually correct about a lot of this stuff too, man. It's interesting. Like, I think my directional stuff is pretty on point. All right, guys, so we're hanging out. There's the data release right here. Let's see what the Michigan consumer sentiment data shows. And here's the report right here. So Michigan consumer sentiment data showed lower than expected expectations, sentiment, and conditions, higher than expected inflation expectations relative to 1 year. 3 year or 5 year came in as expected, but all the data showed worse than expected here. We got a little bit of movement here from the Michigan consumer sentiment data. Look at this move down. And so we did show a little bit worse than expected. Lower than expected consumer expectations at 73 versus 75. Lower than expected consumer sentiment at 69 versus 71. And current conditions came in low as well here. So lower than expected data here for consumer sentiment and data. So that's not good. We'll see what happens now. But the market has reacted negatively to the Michigan consumer sentiment report. And it's why you should pay attention to it. Because if you're in a trade, this thing's going to influence it if you're not aware of what's going on. Now, I'm going to buy up this move, to be honest. We're going to buy up. All right, so we're out. If you don't know why I bought that up, it's because we had such a big downward move that the momentum is usually on the upside. So here's most of my trades today. We got some more trades that, you know, but we're doing okay. I'm going to buy this up too. Look at that big move up. So we were right about that too. We bought it up. We ended up rising. First move, a lot of the time, is the wrong move too. But Michigan consumer data did come out worse than expected. Lower sentiment, higher inflation expectations. Yeah, I think this might fake us out too, though. I'm going to short this. 2 contracts. Looks like I may be wrong here, though. This is a big move up. Big fake out. Wow. I'm going to take half off here. I don't trust that at all. Yeah, so we basically just lost the gains. I'll probably close it down. I don't think I'm going to trade. I don't know. We'll see, but could be worse. Again, I'm looking at NVIDIA start to fight its way back up. Look at that. Tesla, NVIDIA. So kind of a choppy little range here for everything too. Big fake out. We went up big, down big, up big here. Weird. All the way back down. Yeah, so the market is open. I didn't know. Market very flat, very boring. Kind of slowing down a little bit, I guess, here. Market is going down some. We got into some okay trades though. We're doing all right. It's so hard to tell what the market's gonna do here though. It really is. Liquidity is leaving the market. Yeah, it's just Friday though, chat. So like, remember, it is Friday. Trader volume is low. Yeah, it's just kind of boring, man. We're watching some stuff, but we are down $49 on the day. I'll probably bow out. We're still green net the last few days. You know, so here's the day's P&L right here for this account. We're down 49.36 today. Could be worse. Again, if you want to check out Top Step X with me, great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose. Don't get it twisted. Understand that. Most day traders lose. So if you want to try it out and lose less, most likely at least. I can't guarantee you're going to lose less. Of course, if you buy 1,000 accounts, you know, that's different. But it just limits your risk. And per account, $49 a month. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. $50 basically. If you pass it, you get funding. Can withdraw if you follow their rules. Just a pretty good way to learn. If you want to check out the link, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely top 3 most biased trader ever. They pay me money. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I don't claim anything. I'm definitely one of the top 3 worst and best traders in the world right now. Definitely the worst though. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. Unlike actual performance, simulated results do not represent actual trading. You know, blah 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 blah, guys. I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. We'll be back Monday.